You think Everest Base Camp fails because of the snow, or the cold, or even the altitude? No, I've been there, I've seen it. The real reason people turn back, the reason they break down in tears on the trail is this: their body gives up before their mind does. Today, I'm going to show you how to prepare for Everest Base Camp properly, so you don't waste your dream, so you don't cry on the trail, and so you don't regret coming to the Himalayas unprepared. This video might just look like a preparation guide, but for many people watching, this video will be the difference between touching Everest Base Camp or turning back home heartbroken. I've seen trekkers who look incredibly strong quit after just a few days, and I've seen quiet, unassuming people reach their goal with a smile. Everest doesn't care how rich you are, it doesn't care how many followers you have on social media. Everest only respects one thing: preparation. If Everest Base Camp is your dream, you need to watch this until the very end. Let's start with the hard truth: your physical fitness. Now let me be honest, you don't need to be a marathon runner, you don't have to be an elite athlete, but if you don't train, walking for 5 to 7 hours every single day for nearly 2 weeks will feel like punishment, not an adventure. First, let's talk about cardio training. Your heart and lungs are your engine. You need to train them. Aim for 3 to 4 sessions a week. This could be running, cycling, swimming, or even using a stair climber at the gym. Anything that gets your heart rate up, because at high altitude, every single step feels heavier and every breath feels shorter. A strong cardiovascular system is your first line of defense. Next up, strength training. Your legs are what carry your dream to the base of the highest mountain in the world, so you need to make them strong. Simple exercises are the best: squats, lunges, and step-ups. These build the endurance your quads and glutes will need. But don't forget your upper body. Your core keeps you balanced on uneven trails, and your shoulders will be carrying your 5 to 7 kilogram day pack. A strong body says, yes, I'm ready for this. But here's the most important part of your physical training, and the one most people skip: hiking practice. Listen, gym muscles can be useless on Himalayan rocks. You must train on real terrain. Find some hills, walk on uneven trails. If you live in a city, find the tallest building and climb the stairs. Go for long walks, 5 to 6 hours, with a weighted backpack. This is the closest thing you will get to the Everest Base Camp Trail without actually being there. If you can survive hours of stairs with a backpack on, Everest starts respecting you. Now let's move beyond the physical. At high altitude, panic kills your energy faster than the cold ever will. That's why your breath is not optional, it's a survival tool. You need to practice breathing, simple deep belly breathing, or try box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. When the oxygen gets thin, calm, controlled breathing saves your strength and keeps your mind clear. There will be days on that trail when you ask yourself, why did I come here? Your breath will be the answer that keeps you going. Let's talk gear. This isn't about looking cool. It's about survival and comfort, and we have to start with your feet. Your boots will decide your fate, blister or base camp. Let me say this as clearly as I can: new boots on the trail equal pain. You must break your boots in weeks, even months before your trek. Wear them everywhere. They need to be waterproof and have good ankle support, because one bad blister can turn the dream of Everest into a living hell. The mountain doesn't care how your shoes look on social media. It only cares if they can carry you without causing you pain. Next, the layering system. The weather in the Himalayas is famously unpredictable. In the sun, it can feel like 20 degrees Celsius. At night, it can plummet to -20. The key is to layer smart. You'll need a moisture-wicking base layer next to your skin, a warm fleece for your mid-layer, a heavy down jacket for the cold evenings, and a waterproof and windproof shell jacket for the outside. This system allows you to adapt to any weather instantly, and please use trekking poles. Your knees will thank you, especially on the long descents. I know some people think it's not cool, that their ego says no, but trust me, wisdom says yes. They reduce the impact on your joints and help with balance. For hydration, get a 2 to 3 liter hydration bladder for your day pack. It makes drinking water on the move so much easier. Also, carry a 1 liter Nalgene bottle. It's perfect for filling with hot water at night. You can stick it in your sleeping bag to stay warm. Cold nights, warm bottle, happy soul. Now for a very serious topic: health and safety. Altitude sickness is silent, it doesn't ask for permission, and it doesn't care if you're a first-time trekker or an experienced mountaineer. Your first step is a medical check. Visit your doctor at least 6 weeks before your trip. Talk to them about altitude sickness and the preventive medication, Diamox. This isn't about being brave. It's about being responsible. The most important rule in the mountains for preventing altitude sickness is acclimatization. The mantra is climb high, sleep low. Your itinerary must include acclimatization days, usually in Namche Bazaar and Dingbok. These are not optional rest days for you to skip. They are essential for allowing your body to adapt to the lower oxygen levels. Skipping them is how dreams end early. I've seen people cry on the trail, not from physical pain, but from the regret of pushing too hard, too fast. Let's talk about what will fuel your body on the trail. Nutrition and hydration. You will see dal bhat on every menu, which is a meal of lentil soup, rice and vegetables. Some people find it boring after a few days, but dal bhat is not just food. It's high carb, high energy fuel. You eat to walk, and you walk to live your dream. You also need to follow the hydration rule. Drink at least 3 to 4 liters of water every single day, even when you don't feel thirsty. Dehydration happens fast at altitude and it's incredibly dangerous. Finally, let's cover some logistics and etiquette. The Himalayas are sacred. Respect the mountains and respect the local Sherpa people. Always walk clockwise around monasteries and money stones. Dress modestly, especially when entering villages or religious sites. A smile and a simple namaste go a long way. The best seasons to trek are spring from March to May and autumn from September to November. The skies are generally clear, the weather is stable, and the views are absolutely magical. You will need 2 permits, the Sagarmatha National Park permit and the Kambu Pasang Lamu Rural Municipality permit. Your trekking agency will usually arrange these, and your travel insurance is non-negotiable. It must cover helicopter rescue up to 6,000 meters. Don't even think about going without it. A quick cash tip, carry enough Nepali rupees. The higher you go, the fewer ATMs you'll find, and eventually they disappear completely. Everest Base Camp is not just a trek, it's an exercise in patience. It's a journey through pain. For many, it's a form of prayer. Prepare your body, respect the mountain, and Everest will welcome you with open arms. If seeing Everest Base Camp is on your bucket list, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your future trekking partner. Because dreams are always better when you're prepared for them. Train well, walk slow, and let the Himalayas change you. Thanks for watching.